What's up YouTube? HPJ here, and I'm coming at you guys with, surprise, it's another Harpie Lady deck profile. And if you can't tell, the monster on the right is, well, she's here. I ended up getting a set of Harpie conductors online. They are Japanese Harpie conductors, and there's a reason for all of this, and I'll explain you guys it more once I get through the deck profile, because I want to get that done and out the way. Alright, so without further ado, let's get into this deck profile. So, for my starting lineup, I am running 3 copies of Harpie Channeler, 3 copies of Harpie Perfumer, 3 copies of Harpie Harpist, 2 copies each of Harpie Oracle and Harpie Queen, 1 Harpie Dancer, and to follow it out, I'm running 2 copies of Harpie Lady 1 copy of Cyber Harpie Lady, and to round it out, I'm running 1 copy of the Harpie Lady Sisters. So that is it for the main deck. Let's move on to the main deck in terms of responses. Let's move on to the spells. So I am rocking 3 copies of Hysteric Sign, 2 copies each of Elegant Egotist, Harpie's Hunting Ground, and Alluring Mirror Split. For the rest of the spells, I'm rocking 1 copy of Harpie Featheress, 1 copy of Triangle Ecstasy Spark, 1 copy of Regeki, and 1 copy of Monster Reborn. So that is pretty much it for my spells. I'll move on to my trap cards, and my traps are as follow. I'm rocking 3 copies of Harpie's Featherstorm, 2 copies of Hysteric Party, 2 copies of Harpie Lady Elegance, and 2 copies of Infinity Impermanence. So that is it for the main deck, 40 cards in total. Let's move on to the extra deck, and I'm rocking 3 copies of Harpie Conductor, 2 copies of Great Fly, 1 copy of Fighter Fighting Daruma Doll, and 1 copy of Barrel Sword Dragon. Actually, I don't like you up here. I want her to be seen. And then 1 copy of Barrel Load Dragon. So that is it for my Link Monsters. Then we're going to move on to my Exceeds. And I'm rocking 1 copy of Harpie's Pet Phantasmal Dragon, 1 copy of Tornado Dragon, 1 copy of Lightning Chidori, 1 copy of Castell, 1 copy of Ice Beast Zero Find, 1 copy of Abyss Dweller, 1 copy of Gaga Cowboy, and 1 copy of number 41, Babushka, the Terribly Tired Tape Eater. So that is pretty much it for the lineup of both spells, traps, and monsters. So let's talk about this. Alright, so as we stand, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 monsters within the Harpie Lady archetype that have the effect of this card's name becomes Harpie Lady while on the field or in the graveyard. That is primarily because of the 3 of ruling that occurs in Yu-Gi-Oh! Where if your card is not limited, semi-limited, or banned, you can run 3 copies of it. Each of these Harpie monsters have that ability to assist, of course, the monsters that have in parentheses. This card's name is always treated as Harpie Lady. That goes for Cyber Harpie, Harpie Lady 1, Harpie Lady 2, 3, and of course the vanilla monster, Harpie Lady herself. I am very excited to have access to all these monsters. Now, let me explain the Japanese Harpie Conductor. So, I remember a few days back, probably a week ago, that I was showcasing the digital version of Harpies, and I need to do a lot of testing, primarily because I want to make sure that this deck not only fits my playstyle, fits a key playstyle of control of as best as it possibly can, or can be as aggro as it wants, and have access of playing both first and second turn if it goes first or second. It's been a very difficult process, I'm not gonna lie, but it has been very rewarding. And now that I have physical copies of Harpie Conductor, I can actually start testing with her a little more physically than I do digitally. because there is a mindset of like things working physically and then things working digitally, and that you get most of your experiences if you're playing in like tournaments and stuff. You want the physical experience more than you want the digital. Although the digital isn't too bad because you have a larger range of what cards you can access. Some of us don't have access to those cards, so you do have to get to a realization of, okay, well, if I don't have the cards, there are alternatives, and then I need to make sure that my deck works both, while I'm drawing and stuff like that. So that's pretty much why I went into that. But all right, let's talk about these Harpie ladies now. So, Harpie Conductor has a unique ability, two unique abilities. We are not counting this card's name becomes Harpie Lady while in the field and graveyard because, well, the 7 of these monsters have that. No, her first unique ability is that Harpie monsters cannot be. If a Harpie monster or monsters would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can destroy one spell or trap card instead. That is the biggest protection that you have ever seen on a Harpie monster outside of Harpie's pet Phantasmal Dragon. But the problem is Phantasmal Dragon can't get over cards like Dark Hole and Regeki. Harpie Conductor can. Harpie Conductor's other effect is when a Harpie monster is returned to the hand, you can select one face-up special summon monster your opponent controls, because it didn't say what position. That special summon monster goes back to the hand. So with card combinations of effects of Harpie Dancer, Harpie Oracle, Harpie Dancer, Harpie Harpist effects, and you can play around with Divine Wind of the Mist Valley, you have a great way of getting rid of a lot of monsters and a lot of threats on the field, which is perfect. You have Harpie Channeler and Harpie Perfumer. These monsters have easy ways to get monsters onto the board. Harpie Channeler, of course, can discard a Harpie monster, such as a Harpie monster from the deck in defense position. Luckily enough, she does not negate their effects. The biggest benefit is if you control a Dragon-type monster while you control a level 7. When you control a Dragon-type monster while she's on the field, her level changes from 4 to 7, so it gives her range for rank 7 plays with Harpie's Pet Dragon. You get a little defensive with Harpie's Pet Baby Dragon, but that card can be very situational, and it's kind of a card that a lot of people don't play because of how very situational it is. I mean, if you want to build a theme deck, you possibly can and benefit from Pet Baby Dragon, but just right now in the current situation, unless they give us some spells and traps and some utility to boost up the access of Harpie Pet Dragon, Harpie Pet Baby Dragon, they kind of just stay there. Or another main deck retrain of Pet Dragon. I mean, that can work too. Alright, Perfumer. She has the ability when she's normal special summon to search your deck for specifically spells or traps that enlist Harpie Lady Sisters in its attacks. If you control a level 5 or higher monster, you are allowed to add 2 cards, but those cards cannot be the same name, which is great because this gives Harpie Lady Sisters that additional play, that gives the deck additional reach to grab a lot of the beneficial cards like Triangle Ecstasy Spark, Alluring Mirror Split, because those cards are Harpie cards, but they don't have Harpie Lady Sisters in it. They have Harpie Lady Sisters attacks, but they don't have Harpie in its name, so it does fluctuate there with Hysteric Sign. But she has a ton of cards she can easily get from raiding Harpie's Hunting Ground, Elegant Egotist. She can grab Alluring Mirror Split. She can grab Harpie's Feather Rest, which is a great card for Harpies. She can get the Trap card, Harpie Lady Elegance. And, I mean, although no one's running these, and these are still technically Harpie cards because they have sisters in their name. Harpie Lady Phoenix Formation, and then the equipped spell Cyber Shield. So that is that there. Oracle, on the other hand, she will retrieve those cards from the graveyard during the end phase of the turn she's normal special summon. And then if you control a level 5 or higher monster, she can special summon herself from the hand. Note, those effects are only once a turn, but those cards work. That effect works tremendously for defensive purposes, offensive purposes, and just getting back into the game. So with all that said and done about these 7 Harpies, I'm not finished yet. I forgot about Harpie. I feel so bad. I forgot about the Queen of the Harpies, Harpie Queen. Discard her to search for Harpie Sunground out to your hand. She sets up for practically 3 additional cards in this deck by having herself already engraved. Harpie Lady Elegance, Alluring Mirror Split, and Hysteric Party. Benefit from the fact that she places herself in the graveyard, and that it's a ton of support there. Harpie Dancer, we went over. Harpie Harpist's secondary effect is that during the end phases which she's... Oh no, we did go over that. So good, I don't have to talk about those. Alright, let's move on to the other Harpie monsters in the deck. The Harpie Lady 1, the Cyber Harpie Lady, and the Harpie Lady Sisters. These are primarily the bigger targets for Elegant Egotist. Because these two, like I said earlier, have the whole this card's name is always treated as Harpie Lady. These are what you bring out from Elegant Egotist outside of the Harpie Lady Sisters. And they're primarily the reason why I'm running multiple Elegant Egotists, because I am running multiple Harpie Lady 1s. So I have 4 targets. I don't mind Oracle's Effect to search. I don't mind Oracle's Effect to retrieve. It's just that I want a speedier process, and some people are actually running double Elegant Egotists as well, so I'm pretty sure it's working out for them. It's just what combination ratio your monster count is going to be. Mine is at 19 right now. I could drop it to 1 and just not run the additional Harpie Lady 1, but because I want the additional search and I want additional target, that's why I'm running the additional Harpie Lady 1. Outside of that, Cyber Harpie is the beat stick, the additional beat stick next to Queen, and Harpie Lady Sisters is the easiest target to summon level 6 wise, because that is our only level 6. A lot of people like myself were hoping we would get a retrain of Harpie Lady Sisters, but unfortunately we don't think that's going to happen. And I do admire the fact that Harpie Lady Sisters is getting played again, because we really missed it, and it was really beneficial to a lot of Harpie players. So we at least got her back and have a ton of support to support her. Alright, we're going to move on to the spells. And pretty much the biggest thing about the spell cards right now is just how you can utilize, the whole self-destruction effect. By self-destruction, I mean the fact that Harpie's Underground can destroy a lot of your spells and traps, and then you benefit from that destruction because it's a Harpie card destroying them. So, we have up for bat Harpie Lady, Hysteric Sign, Harpie's Hunting Ground, Elegant Egotist, Harpie's Feather Rest, Triangle Ecstasy Sparks, and Alluring Mirror Split. So let's get down the list. Hysteric Sign has two abilities. It can either add Elegant Egotist from your deck or graveyard to your hand, or the other ability is when this card is sent from hand or field to the graveyard during the end phase, which it was sent that turn, you can add 3 Harpie cards to your hand, but they cannot share the same name to your hand, and they must have Harpie in its name. So unfortunately, that cuts out Triangle Ecstasy Spark and Harpie Lady Elegance in Cyber Shield, if you want to run Cyber Shield. But because you have the range of cards to help get those other cards, because they have Harpie Lady Sisters in its text, you have the range of getting a lot of these cards, thankfully enough. I love Hysteric Sign. Hysteric Sign is one of my favorite Harpie spells next to Harpie's Feather Duster, Triangle Ecstasy Strike. And it's just because of the fact of what they can do and the presence that they give. You cannot activate both effects during the turn, and this is a must-have you want as the 3 of in the deck. That's literally why I'm running 3 of it. The reason why I'm running the 2 of the Elegant Egotist is, like I said with the Harpie Ladies when I was talking about them, the Massive Summon and putting them onto the board, so you don't have to worry about having to thin out your deck so much to having to do so many things. We are running, of course, Harpie's Hunting Ground to pop multiple back row, to pretty much turn the archetype into a walking MST. That is all the Harpie Ladies. The additional 200 attack and defense may not seem like a big payoff, but it does help tremendously. And I love the fact that it got reworded perfectly so that it wasn't a big hassle, because there's a lot of hassle behind Harpie's Hunting Ground's effect, and people can't read. Next up is Alluring Mirror Split. So, a lot of people don't like this card's first effect, but they love the second effect, and I have to agree. If this card did read if Harpie Lady or Harpie Lady Sisters was destroyed by battle or card effect, 1, this card would be worth more. 2, this card would be even more sought after. And 3, I think people will probably want multiple copies of this because of the fact of it being able to get a Harpie monster from your deck with a different original name than the one that was destroyed. This helps bring out a lot of the Harpie monsters. You get a lot of bigger combos off of it. And then the secondary effect, which is if a Harpie card destroyed it, or your opponent's card effect destroyed it, you can special summon a Harpie monster from your graveyard to the field. And it doesn't matter what the name of that monster is, as long as a Harpie monster, you can summon it to the field. So, Harpie Lady Sisters, that's probably been summoned, and they were sent to the graveyard. Harpie's Pet Dragon, Harpie's Pet Baby Dragon, and it's a ton of array of setup for that. Harpie's Feather Rest. So, this is a card that a lot of people went about, but then they're like, oh wait, that has a lot of potential. Because you run something like Harpie Lady Sisters, you get the effect of drawing 2 cards off of this a lot more prevalent than the 1 of. I enjoy this as a one-of card because I don't really think we need that much of it. We can run a double if we want the additional draw power, but we also have to remember the fact of this. This card is technically Pot of Avarice for Harpies, and that's one of the big drawbacks to it is that you're going to send your Harpies back to the deck. So if you can find a way to send them to the graveyard easily, go for it. But just remember that the big downside to it is if you want to special summon, your only targets are wind. You only summon wind monsters after you activate and resolve this card's effect. Which most people frown at, but we have a ton of support for wind anyway. So wind has a big range to itself. Then we move on to Triangle Ecstasy Spark. Triangle Ecstasy Spark makes the attack of all Harpie Lady Sisters on the field 2,700. So if your opponent controls a Harpie Lady Sisters, you can trade this card from your hand. The other benefit to it is that if you're, like I said, it just has to be a Harpie Lady Sisters on the field, not Harpie Lady 1, 2, 3, just Harpie Lady Sisters, and then you can benefit from a lot of this card's effects for the turn. Your opponent cannot activate trap cards, and that all your opponent's trap cards are negated, which is great, because then you can activate Harpie's Hunting Grounds effect, pop multiple cards like crazy with your Harpie's Hunting Ground, and a lot of the Harpie effects. Also to note this, you would want to play this first before you start summoning cards like Gravefly and Harpie Lady 1, because then Harpie Lady Sisters won't gain the attack boost. It's something that I wish they would have updated Harpie Triangle Ecstasy Spark when they printed it in Sisters of the Rose to clarify this, but this is also TCG Konami, and we can never get a ruling or an understanding for a lot of cards until more stuff comes out. So maybe hopefully next time Harpie stuff comes around, they can get us a better clarification of Triangle Ecstasy Spark. We hope. Alright, that is it for the 6 Harpie Lady cards. The only other cards in the deck to really talk about in terms of spells is the Ever Faithful Monster Reborn and Ever Faithful Regeki. Regeki just clears the board of all your opponent's monsters so that you can clear the way to deal without having to deal with threats and stuff. And then Monster Reborn is that additional special summon we need to the deck. It's honestly, Monster Reborn is still a great card, and it has so many usages. It's so much potential. It's so much of a good card. Thank God it's back at 1. Still broke, but it's back. Alright, I'm gonna move on to the traps. Harpie's Featherstorm. So if you wanted a trap, you wanted a literal hand trap, you got it in the form of Harpie's Featherstorm. The fact that if all you really need is to control a Harpie monster to activate this card from your hand. While you control a Wind-Winged Beast monster, your opponent's monster effects are negated to the end of the turn. Great combination of effects here. You can search this with Hysteric Sign. This card is a trap card that can easily be played from your hand, so you don't have to worry about that. The only sad thing to this is its last effect, and we won't know if we'll get Harpie's Feather Duster back until the new man list is confirmed. So because we don't know if we'll get it, this card is still an empty incompletion, and I hated it a lot of times when it would get MST'd, I'd activate it, and then couldn't resolve the last effect because the TCG doesn't have a legal Harpie's Feather Duster, and it sucks. So, yeah. Alright, Hysteric Party. My other favorite Harpie trap card in the game. This card, 1 card, so summon as many copies of Harpie Lady from your graveyard as possible. Those 7 monsters, and multiple copies of them, are Harpie Lady. Harpie Lady 1, 2, 3, Cyber Harpie Lady are all counted, and the Vanilla Harpie Lady. Sorry, Harpie Lady Sisters don't count because they don't have any text that their card becomes Harpie Lady on the field, or this card is counted as 3 Harpie Ladies while on the field in the graveyard. So, But other than that, this is one of the biggest play cards you can get with it. A lot of people are running 2 of it because you don't want to see it too much, unless your build is relegated to that. There isn't any recovery, unfortunately, for Hysteric Party or Hysteric Sign. So that's also another thing we, unfortunately, are lacked with, is a card to get our Hysteric cards. But we can get a lot of things off of this, discarding cards to the grave to activate effects. Having it be a dead card on the field, you can pop it with Harpie Conductor, so that way she can save the monsters. Or actually, I think you can even send this card to the graveyard to protect your monsters from being destroyed, which is great. So, yeah. And then Harpie Lady Elegance. So, if this card is destroyed by your opponent's card effect, or your Harpie card effect, you can search your deck for a Harpie monster and add it to your hand. Its on-field effect is you can send back 1 Harpie Lady Sisters to search summon 1 Harpie monster from your hand, 1 Harpie monster from your grave, and 1 Harpie monster from the deck. They cannot share the same name, which is fine. And for the most part, honestly, this is just a great way to get more pieces onto the board by swapping out your Harpie Lady Sisters, leave your opponent under a Triangle Ecstasy Spark effect, and then you start beating their face in, which is always awesome. And then the last trap in the deck. Oh, I'm also running only two of this because I don't want to see this card too much, but when I do want to see it, I can either pop it or search. Alright, flip it to get the sisters back to the deck, and then pop it through an effect. But the last trap card in the deck is Infinity Impermeance. Really good card if you're not running Effect Veiler. It's pretty much is an Effect Veiler. If you control no cards, you can activate it from your hand. And then if this card was activated, the card any spells and traps that's in the same column as it cannot be activated until the end of the turn. So, yeah, amazing card, amazing way to negate stuff. And I mean, you can still run your hand traps if you choose, but I'm just not choosing to run hand traps, and I want to choose an additional floating card for the deck. All right, we can finally move on to the extra deck. And I've already talked about Harpie Conductor, so that is Harpie Conductor talk for you guys. But I just want to give her a little bit of moment to, of course, look pretty on the stage. So there is the Harpie Conductor. Because this is honestly, I'm really excited that we finally have a Link monster for Harpies. That is a actual Link monster for Harpies. Just the overwhelming benefits and combinations, of course, you can get between her and Harpie's pet Phantasmal Dragon is great. We don't know what she's going to look like in the TCG, but I have a funny feeling that Major's going to be covered, them boobies are going to be covered, and them shoulders, because I guess people like shoulders. Yeah. But Harpie's pet dragon. A Harpie's pet Phantasmal Dragon, I'm sorry, but it's the Harpie's pet dragon. 3 wind monsters to make this card summon. While this card is on the field, Harpie monsters cannot be targeted for effects and cannot be targeted by battle. While this card can attack your opponent directly and loses one of its material during each of your end phases. With a combination between Harpie's pet Phantasmal Dragon and Harpie Conductor, you pretty much make it invincible from Regeki, Dark Hole, Torrential Tribute, stuff like that. While also it protecting you from being targeted from cards like Effect Veiler, Ghost Ogre stuff, little crazy stuff like that. You have Harpie Pet Phantasmal Dragon protecting you from that. So it's a great way to see the ever faithful servant and its master, or one of its masters, work well together. Moving along from that, Great Fly and this additional 500 attack boost is tremendous to any wind deck. I did decide to drop it from 3 to 2 because, well, I have Harpie Conductors. That's why. Fighting Darumidal was this very card I was thinking about, but because of how much of an interaction it has, especially if my Harpies get banished, I can always retrieve them thanks to Darumidal's effect. Darumidal will gain 100 additional attack for every winged beast, beast warrior, and beast monster on the field. So if I can stack enough Harpies, this thing is gonna be about 2,100. So it can take out a couple of things if it can. And then its ability to destroy a spell or trap on each player side of the field. So I can get off my Hysteric Sign, I can pop my party and insert my Hunting Ground, and then have Oracle get it back. I just have a lot of range with this card. Next up is Barrel Low Dragon, because I 2 to 4 Barrel Sword Dragon. Hopefully with the Battle of Legends print I can get me a Barrel Sword. But Barrel Low Dragon can snatch an opponent's monster, very hefty in attack. This thing is just an amazing monster. The barrel monsters are really, really good. There's Barrel Low, Barrel Sword, there's the Exceed monster, we're getting the Synchro, it's just a good range of good monsters all around with these guys. And Link monsters we thought were going to destroy, they are wrecking, not gonna lie. But having your own access to them, having your own for your archetype, and just having range of things you can use helps it all worthwhile. Alright, we're going to move on to the Exceed monsters, of course. We've already talked about Phantasmal Dragon, but we're going to talk about Lightning Chidori, Castel, Tornado Dragon, and Ice Beast Zero Fine. This is what I call the Harpie Lady package. These monsters have helped a lot of Harpie decks throughout the range. Wind monsters, winged beasts, tons of support, tons of just beaters, and these guys are amazing monsters to don't sleep on. I'm only running one of each because, of course, this isn't like it used to be where we can just massively spam Exceed monsters like crazy and then not feel any repercussions from it. But because of the whole link thing, you are relegated to how many spaces on the board you can use for your exceed summons and stuff like that. But these are the creme de la creme of a Harpie toolbox. Moving on from that, of course, are the last 3 monsters. Abyss Dweller, Cowboy, and Babushka. Babushka is here in case you need to stall out. Having in defense and your opponent can't really do much to it. You can easily just pitch it off for some other monsters, of course, in the extra deck. Primarily, the only thing you can pitch it off for is the barrel load. It's the barrel load dragon. So, Cowboy, that 800 burn damage, and it's rare that you ever use it for its decrease in attack and increase in attack. And then you have Abyss Dweller to help you deal with other decks that have nasty graveyard effects. So stuff like Salamangreat, Burning Abyss, all that can be easily negated with the detachment of a card off of Abyss Dweller. So that is pretty much it for this deck profile. And I am very excited to have done it. I hope you guys enjoy it. Comment section is always open. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for all your support. Hit that notification bell when you're informed when I upload these videos or when I do my live streams. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you guys next time. HPJ, signing out. Take care.